And we're live. It took a second for that to load, but we're live now. What's up? My boy Cole is joining me to talk about the Game Awards nominees that were just released today, just an hour ago. Um, a lot of these games I don't recognize. Some of them I do.
Yeah,
what are
that's me
you
with like the content creator of the year award every year.
right? And I'm never on it. we're never on
Yep.
that one.
Yeah, so it's rigged.
It is rigged. That fucking. I gotta send a letter. No, I need to get on the stage and blame
Yeah.
Bill Clinton or something. I need
Yeah.
to do that. did you see they
Well,
were talking about that? They were talking about how to avoid that this year. There was like,
yeah, it's just like up the security. And also it
yeah,
happened like again at another thing recently Geoff Keighley did. So it's like, yeah, you need to have some security, buddy.
yeah.
But yeah,
I'm excited to see if
hopefully it
anything like
does.
that happens again. That'd be really fun.
Um well,
That'd be,
there's definitely going to be somebody who's going to try though for attention seeking since it blew up last year. That's usually what happens. Like brings him back to the time with E3, the Microsoft press conference when Keanu Reeves came out and that guy said, "You're breathtaking," and
yeah,
it was a funny, nice, big moment.
that was bigger
However,
than the actual game. Like that
yes,
moment was, you know,
yeah, I mean at least until Phantom Liberty, but yeah,
oh yeah,
I mean, however, then CD gave the guy, all right, a free copy of the game when it got launched as a reward for doing that.
no,
And that's
that's
the
nice
issue.
though.
You don't reward. Yeah,
Yeah,
like again, it was a funny, nice moment, but you don't reward things like that, or else other
yeah.
people, other grifters, and just fucking parasites are then gonna try to do that. So then at the next conferences, tons of people try to cringely do that, and
Well,
I think it got to a point where Todd Howard, you could hear him in the background saying, "I'm gonna effing kill this guy."
dude, and I really do feel like something like that's going to happen again this year. Like, and we were talking about the Israel Palestine thing. Like, yeah, I feel like somebody going to do something like that this year. They're going to yell out "Free
Possibly,
Palestine" and just throw a flag on the stage or something like that. They're going to do
yeah.
something.
Well, I mean, it hasn't. The yelling hasn't happened since like 2016 as much. Like in 2015 and 2016, there were a lot of yellers, and like when the and before Game of the Year got announced, like don't say Fallout when Witcher 3 won, or Doom, and then Overwatch 1, which was cringe. But
Mm.
yeah, but it hasn't happened really since then, at least with the yelling part. Since 2017. So I mean, we'll see. I think like though Geoff Keighley will say
Yeah.
something. I think he'll just be like, like during this war, like just say something about like the citizens there, keeping the children safe on both sides and donating to
Yeah.
like both causes to keep them
Yeah.
safe, during this.
He cannot say he stands with either side though. I mean, you
Yeah,
cannot make a
no,
stand. Like,
that
there's no
will
way.
end the whole show.
Yeah, there's just no way. Like, um, Jeff Keighley, what are your thoughts about him? Because he always does these Game Awards shows, and he always gets a lot of shit from like gamers and stuff for biases and stuff. And
Yeah,
sometimes you look
I
at the
mean, look,
nominations, and maybe he could be
nobody's like
biased, but
perfect. Like in
yeah,
a role like that, nobody's perfect, and obviously, there's like like corporate talk and everything, or like how he does things and whatnot. But I mean,
mm,
at the end of the day, though, like compared to like everybody else in the industry, he tries his hardest on it, honestly, and he does like the best job of actually being genuine out of all those like corporate people to gamers and like doing things positively and like
that's
trying his
yeah,
best. And like obviously like this Spike Game Awards and now the Game Awards years later
yeah,
isn't like the like it isn't like the greatest thing ever, and it's not like the defining factor of
yeah. He was always
quality. I
trying
mean, if there
though.
was
Like
any that would be,
yeah,
yeah, he's trying. I mean, if there was any that would be, then it would be. I guess everybody in the game industry considers it to be the BAFTAs and then Dice Awards and then Game
yeah.
Awards. However, at the end of the day, this is a passion project of his, and it's something that he does for the fans, and it's nothing to take seriously. It's just a dumb award show. Just have fun and also to announce games since we don't really get like E3 and stuff
That's right.
anymore. And I think that's cool.
That's probably the most exciting part about the Game Awards is the games they do announce. Since E3, the guy who organized E3, stopped doing it because too many companies were dropping out of it.
Yeah.
So
And I mean,
that sucks.
like I get it, like it's kind of like outdated nowadays. And, there's no point when Microsoft / Bethesda / I guess Activision Blizzard now, and then Sony and Nintendo can just have their things and during that
It
same
sucks,
time.
man, because I always wanted to go to E3. Like that was always like a goal. Like I gotta go to E3 one year.
Yeah,
Like,
I did too. I mean,
yeah.
like I don't know if it's something like as
Like,
hype like in person, like and compared to just watching it online, but it's like and it's also I guess you could say it's technically just like watching a bunch of advertisements, but still, I mean, like I know it's kind of an outdated concept, but it was still cool, and having it all in like the same week and everything. Like the closest really got to it outside of the Game Awards is Gamescom and Summer Games Fest, which he also does to both of them.
Yeah, but it is kind of an outdated concept. You're right about that because I mean, if you're gonna show a game, just release it like online and get it going, start spreading it. Like,
yeah, but that's
wait
why
for an
there's a bunch of
event?
advertisements. So at the Game Awards because they needed to keep it funded, and like that's also the other thing though. When people have like tried saying the Game Awards is considered the most pristine over the BAFTAs and DICE because it's the most popular. It's the most popular.
It's the most eyeballs on it. You get the most eyeballs on it.
It's because of the game announcements, not the awards. Not as many people in the industry care about that part. I would say the people who do the most probably is the indie companies, and because it feels good for them, and the performances.
All right, so let's get into some of these nominees. I want to start with most anticipated game. We got what's clearly going to win this one, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, as the obvious winner here. What do you think?
So?
I never even heard of that title before I read it right there.
Not really. Well, I mean, it's Yakuza, but they had Yakuza Like a Dragon, but then this is a sequel to Like a Dragon, I guess.
But they dropped the Yakuza name. I mean, how are people gonna? I mean, they did drop the Yakuza name, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they've had just like a Dragon before. Like I know the movie that they made a while ago by Takashi Miike was just called Like a Dragon. So yeah, I mean they're kind of used to it, I guess, fans of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will be good. Not my most anticipated. I mean, Star Wars Outlaws I don't have the most hope for because anything outside of stuff by Respawn I don't. Especially with it being Ubisoft, but I mean, it doesn't.
Did you play Jedi Survivor? What do you think about Jedi Survivor?
It got lower ratings on sites when it first came out because of some like glitches and issues, but for the most part, and when that all got patched, I thought it was overall a great game and an improvement over the first one, which I thought was very good, and I think especially the performance, which is nominated, and the audio design was super good. It isn't like Game of the Year nom-worthy or anything like that, especially with how tough of a year it was. But I thought it was great. Which, God, reminded me of that though. God, like I imagine if it wasn't for the war in Russia and Stalker 2 got released this year, it would have been even stronger of a year.
Oh yeah.
God damn.
Oh yeah. Lots of things got derailed this year.
Yeah, and then Tekken 8. I mean. Probably the most like technical best fighting game out there. Not
big in the fighting game community. Overall, so the fighting game community would be really hyped for that.
It's basically sort of like the opposite of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, where those two games, they a lot of people even who aren't that big into fighting games love them, but this is more like a Soul Calibur, if that's what it's called, like where it's mainly the people who are mainly just into fighting games who love it and probably love this like the most just technically. So yeah, I mean that's a hype one. And Hades 2 is Hades my 2. Personal pick. Yeah, because I thought the first game was a masterpiece and like one of the best made games ever, in my opinion. That probably for 2020 that would be my game of the year. But
what did it lose to? Did it lose to something? What did it lose to in that year?
Oh, well, I actually, sorry, it lost at this award show, but at the BAFTAs and DICE, it won. So technically, it won Game of the Year that year, but at specifically this award show, The Last of Us won that year.
Oh, that's right. So, Last of Us Part 2? We won that year?
Yes. Yeah, so that one won at this award show. The other two, though, which I guess people in the industry count more, it won both of those. So, I mean, I guess it kind of won Game of the Year, but since we're just talking about this award show, it didn't win. But, I mean, yeah, I think Final Fantasy, though, that's probably going to be the winner for this just because,
people,
the first
popularity.
Game of the Year. Yeah, it's mega huge, and just like because of what we know, what will happen in like part 2.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be huge. So yeah.
Yeah, and you made an interesting point earlier when we were in the backstage about Star Wars Outlaws being by a Ubisoft's made game,
Yeah.
and that probably turns people off instantly. Even though
Mm.
Ubisoft's, I mean, I don't know, a lot of their games do the generic formula over and over. Far Cry, same formula. Assassin's Creed, same formula. It's the same game over and over. But then they try to do something different with Mirage, but people didn't like Mirage either. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they try to go back to basics, but
Yeah.
in my opinion, it was a little
It's
too
too big.
basic.
Yeah, too simplified.
Yeah, I mean,
boring.
again, they really like what I think they should do is just retire. I mean, they'll never do it because of money, with the IP, but they should at least for the time period, like retire temporarily the Assassin's Creed name and instead just do straight up utter John. Like they were trying to basically doing that with the pirate thing and the Viking thing. It's just they attached the Assassin's Creed element to it still so they could keep the name. So then more eyes and more money on it if it has that IP name. But they should just completely remove them and try to do a Skull and Bones type thing, except not being Skull and Bones because that game has been a disaster in development and looks like garbage, sadly, ever since it was announced. But try to do basically that, and then if you want to do at the same time something similar to it, do like that there was like that similar game they made, like Guardians, whatever it was called, something like that. Or more Prince of Persia games as well, bring that back again.
Is there an anticipated game that's not here that you are anticipated for, like you're looking forward to?
I mean,
this is not all the games coming out next year.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I would have to like kind of look it up and like think, like there's definitely many games I'm anticipated for. I just don't know if they're coming out in 2024, but I know like obviously Stalker 2, that's one I'm really excited for.
The Suicide Squad game. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have high hopes for that, but we'll see.
They should have just added that to that list just to be funny.
Yeah, and then of course, I mean, there's the big one, like Alan Wake 2 was probably like one of the most anticipated sequels forever.
That just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's already nominated for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm happy, and that's the one thing I'm most happy about it. I love that game, and I love the sequel. But the second one is Beyond Good and Evil 2, but I don't know how it's doing in development. It was announced back in 2018 or 2017.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much from it yet. I'm getting scared, and it's by Ubisoft, and we know Ubisoft is so I'm worried.
That's development hell. If it's like sitting there for 5 years and without a word, it's probably
I mean, they first announced it when it was like in the like very beginning stages, and it usually takes
they should be done with it by now, unless they completely
I mean, like they literally started like at the beginning with it when they first announced it. It usually takes 4 to 5 years, to develop a game like that properly. However, it still should be done by now.
That probably hurt them.
Yeah, that, and there have been development issues. The guy who did Rayman's Legends or whatever it's called, dropped out. He was the lead guy for it before.
Funny fact about Rayman Legends, I just saw this the other day. It's the last Ubisoft game that has like over a 90 on Metacritic. Rayman Legends.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that came out how many years ago? Like a long time ago.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So yeah, but I mean, what do you think's gonna win this?
Yeah, I think it's between Hades 2 and Final Fantasy. I think Final Fantasy wins though because it's just more popular. I think more people will click on the site just for that.
Yeah, probably.
But Hades 2 has a massive like following, definitely like a cult following behind Hades. But it's growing. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like people would just click Star Wars just because it's Star Wars, though, right? Like, they would just.
I mean, Star maybe, Wars, but I think it will be Final Fantasy. But if it's Hades, I'll be very happy.
That'd be cool.
Also, I did think of another one. I guess Celeste 2. However, that's probably wasn't here because it's coming out in 2025. So these are more 2024. But yeah.
Well, let's go to the next category: Best Sim Strategy Game. Do you play sim strategy games? Because I used to play Company of Heroes. I used to play City Skylines a lot. Like those are the two I used to play a lot.
Not as much as other genres, but I do, and some of my friends have been getting me more into them again.
And by the way, Cities Skylines is a simulation of a city, and Company of Heroes is a strategy game. Like these are wildly different games. I don't like how they do this with the categories, Like you got two completely
Well,
different types of
it's
games
because
here.
they don't want to like make too
Yeah.
many categories. That's why
Yeah.
they removed a
Oh,
lot throughout
yeah.
the years. Like they after Until Dawn, one horror game, they kind of removed that. After GTA 5, one best like remaster or remake game with their relaunch with the first person POV thing in 2015, they removed that. Like they kind of like they also removed best student game, best Japanese game. There's a lot of things that have gone in and out, and it's because they try lowering it and also combining things because and also just announcing a lot of them just on the commentary thing instead of on the big stage with the montage because they need time for advertisements.
Yeah. But I mean, but they have 5 fucking categories for esports. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe
Yeah,
drop one of
and they just
those.
breeze by them. Yeah, but
Drop
it's like
the
I like
esports
esports, but
coaches.
if you're not gonna like care about or like put any effort into the esports categories, might as well not do it. Like I
Right?
love esports, but goddamn, I hope Faker wins this year though. That's all I'll say.
If
Faker
you're
should
gonna
win
do
this.
esports awards, you should probably do it just an esports awards show, just like the
Yeah, well, they
ESPYS. You
have it,
know?
the esports awards. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need
Yeah,
a. Well, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
yeah,
Out of this category, what do you think?
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Pikmin's also big. That's a big one. Fire Emblem's
yeah, that is
huge.
big.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, if we're going by like popularity, then yeah, it's gonna be Pikmin or Fire Emblem.
yeah.
I don't know how those
All I
games
hear
like
is Fire Emblem. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
only one I
yeah.
hear
I
about.
don't know
Yeah.
how those games did like rating wise and
Yeah.
everything. However, those two will probably win just because of popularity, and it will probably be Fire Emblem because the
Yeah.
fan base is huge. And anytime there's like anything Fire
I agree.
Emblem in one of these categories, it wins. Like it won the fan game like for Three Houses a few years ago, so that will probably be the winner. But my choice is personally Cities Skylines 2 because I really enjoyed that, or
It's a great game.
one of my friends from Quebec got me into Advance Wars, and I've been really loving it. So that would also be my personal like
That's an
sleeper,
interesting
but
one.
it has no chance.
Right? I never even heard of it until I read it right there.
Yeah, it
So
was a very old game, but
yeah.
yeah, they kind of remastered it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. It's probably gonna be something like Fire Emblem because that's just like has a huge following of people always playing that game.
Yeah.
But you know what's the game I haven't seen in the strategy section in a while? It's like Total War. I haven't seen them been nominated for anything in quite some time. I can't like I don't think Shogun was nominated for anything. That came out years ago. You know,
Not sure. I think they were nominated for something with one of their games
yeah.
like a year ago.
But for me, those are my favorite strategy games. Is the Total War series, and yeah, I'm just seems like they haven't been getting any shine like ever, like in the last
okay. So I
5-6
looked it
years.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
Total Warhammer 3. It did get
Oh,
a
Warhammer.
nominee.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah, it
forgot
did get a
about that.
nominee. Yeah, I did get a nominee for this category last year. So
Oh yeah, that's the one I didn't play. That's the one. That's the
yeah.
Total War game
Now
I didn't
there
play.
is something to remember here though, which is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
for if we're talking about like a fan vote, like best fan game, which I don't know if they're still doing because of that fiasco with the
Yeah.
bots last year with Genshin Impact and Sonic. I don't know, but if we're talking about that, then I mean it's probably going to be Fire Emblem, no doubt. But this is mainly critic voters or whoever like
I mean, I think you just go
popular
to the
people.
website and cast your vote. Like, I think this is
Yeah, yeah.
more.
However, it only counts for like a very small percentage of the votes, like
Oh, okay.
10% or 8%. The rest are like the equivalent of the Academy voters. So because of that, Pikmin does have a chance to beat Fire Emblem just because of that. If it was just fan votes, then it would be Fire Emblem.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah. All right, let's continue on here. What's the next category? Innovation and accessibility. I think that's a dumb category that they keep doing for some reason. I know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good that like have that, I guess, but I
it's
mean,
nice, but
yeah, I mean, it's nice. I mean, if you want like my opinion on it, I mean, I would probably give it to either. I wouldn't give it to Forza Motorsport because Forza Horizon already won it with similar things like a couple years ago.
what about
I
Hi-Fi
probably wouldn't
Rush?
give it.
I hear a lot of good
Yeah, I
things about
probably wouldn't
Hi-Fi
give it
Rush.
to either of the fighting games. Yeah, I would probably give it to Hi-Fi Rush, or even though I wasn't the biggest fan of it and their ways, Diablo, that was the one thing they did really well. But yeah, I would probably give the Hi-Fi Rushes because the way like they do everything with the music and like
Mm.
visuals, and then change it up for people with like disabilities and everything. Like I think that was really well done and creative.
Mm. Yeah, I think the last like innovative thing was like God of War won it last year, right? For this one, or no,
Yeah,
the year
which I
before.
didn't
Yeah,
really agree with. It was just like
yeah,
you telling how the puzzles work, and
yeah.
I feel like there were better games for that.
And, I think last year was God of War was last year, right? The Ragnarok, or was that the year before?
Yeah, it was last year. It did
Yeah.
win last year. I'm
It
pretty
won.
sure. I feel like
I think
it.
it won like 6 or 7 awards last year,
Oh
and
yeah, it won the most awards at that
but it
award
didn't
show.
win Game of the Year. So that
Yeah, no.
interesting.
Which I think that was good to give it the most awards, but give Elden Ring direction and Game of the Year.
Yeah.
For this year, I mean, could be in a similar similar thing. We'll see.
You know what? Game I'm surprised. There's a certain game. Hogwarts Legacy came out in May,
Yeah, didn't
and it's
get anything.
completely forgotten. It's like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
yeah, that is things I'm really
interesting
surprised by.
because
They
it
were
did
mainly like,
sell 18 million copies. I wonder if it's like a political thing with J.K. Rowling or something like that. Like,
I
it's
don't know. I really don't
I
know.
don't know what the
Like,
hell's going on.
here's the thing. I did think like the game wouldn't get like too much. Like at most, it would get maybe like two. It wouldn't get in Game of the Year or anything like that because it's more of one of those games that was like excellent, but
Mm.
isn't like really top five or anything like that in many like categories over others this year, and with how strong of a year it was. But still, to get nothing, like not
Yeah.
even like
For the
action
amount of
adventure
people
like
that
that.
played it, I mean, it's yeah,
Yeah, and how loved it is, like to not at least give it like an action adventure nom over
yeah,
something else. Like weird,
open
especially
world.
with some of the
No,
nominees. They
yeah,
gave the Super Mario Bros. Like that's
yeah.
weird.
I
That
don't hear
and
anybody talk about Super Mario. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, so yeah,
games
that
for
was like my biggest surprise. That and Octopath Traveler too. But
yeah,
anyway,
games for impact. Have you played any of these? These are
um,
like little
usually I play a
games.
lot of the games from Games for Impact each year because they do have even if they some of them aren't the greatest like overall games, they do have very impactful great stories and everything, and
And they're
some of
not
them
like
are like
20 hours long. they're
yeah,
like
there's just an hour which is enjoyable, great
yeah.
experiences, and some of them are like some of the best of the year, especially like in previous years. Like
Mhm.
this has like some of the greatest games of the year, like especially 2018 when they had Hellblade 1 and What Remains of Edith Finch. But
Oh yeah,
this
that's a great
this
one.
year not so much. However, I did play, I would say, for them. I didn't play a space for the Unbounded, and I didn't play Chance of Senar, but I played
No.
the other four. I
Yeah, what do you
liked
think of them?
the three at the bottom, and my pick would probably be Terra Nil. But
Really? What's it
the
about?
other one was gives Life is Strange a run for its money of being just what the fuck, which is Goodbye Volcano High.
Does it play better than Life is Strange?
It has some glitches. Just like Life is Strange. Just like Life is Strange. I like the concept and everything, and so I get
Mm.
the messages and everything it's going for. But the game itself is just poorly written and broken.
Yeah. It sucks
what
to
was that
play.
game? Tell Me Why and everything,
You know.
and True Colors.
What's Terra Nil about? I see deers on the cover.
Well, it's a mobile game. I don't know if I want to go into spoilers, but it's mainly like a strategy game.
Mm.
Barren wasteland. That's all I'll really go into like details, but I would recommend it. This isn't I think the only thing it's nominated for. I think it's nominated for other things, but
Mhm.
yeah, I
Film
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Film Psychic has come in here and he says Marvel's going to be dead soon, so he's very excited about that.
I hope and then they can reboot and do it better. Hopefully.
And maybe we'll talk about Superman Legacy at the end because they released the font for the movie. I don't know if you saw that. They released the font and all the Snyder bronies got, they all peed their pants.
Yeah, so it's like they don't understand even that was the original. Thank God.
Right. All right, next category. I'm not here, so this one doesn't make any sense. I don't know who are
Yeah,
these people?
and Iron Mouse, I believe, is like some VR person, whatever. Quackity, just does like a bunch of things like, KSI, Mr. Beast, just whatever. I don't care. Cypher or whatever his name is, just does some Fortnite stuff, whatever. Sprain is alright. He's probably like the least cringe out of these 5 nominees.
I remember the
They
first
always
year
do
they
it
did this content creator one. Like I remember that first year, and somebody won. I forget who
Yeah,
won though. Like
yeah, no,
they're not even
I
around
know,
anymore.
I can remember the winners, and yeah, they've almost never got this right. Very
Yeah.
oddly, like probably the odd times they got it right was people like Doctor Disrespect and such.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. That was
yes,
a
but
really
the
good one.
person who won the first one, which I don't want to sound rude because he passed away, so I don't want to sound like an
Well, who was
asshole.
it?
But Total Biscuit, which he definitely did
Uh,
not deserve, and over others there, especially not over PewDiePie at the time, or
oh,
you
is that
know,
was that before
Jim
PewDiePie
Sterling.
wore the Nazi thing? That was
I
before
don't know.
that, right?
It was like in 2014 or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, and definitely not over James Stephanie Sterling, whatever her
Hmm.
name is now. Now that she turned whatever I believe came out, but whatever. And they do that every year. Like I remember when just some random person with just like 100,000 subs somehow won over Vanos, which was so weird. And then whatever. I don't get it.
I feel like it'd be
I,
an easy category to do. You just see who has the most subs in the least amount of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
well, yeah. I
there you
mean,
go.
there's different things to it, and different things you need to take into account. Also, because it's about positive community impact,
Yeah.
and despite that, Dream won last year, which is hilarious, and somehow Tim the Top Man somehow lost over Valkyrie, which is hilarious. Yeah, it's just a weird category. I will say at least they didn't, at least they didn't give Angry Joe the award that one year, but at the other hand, then they
Right.
gave it to Boogie.
That's funny. Yeah. Oh, did you see the Boogie documentary?
Yeah, hilarious. Jeez, God, Christ.
Rough.
Yeah, very rough. It's just like
Stop spending your money on hookers. All right.
as somebody who it is just textbook narcissism. As somebody who wants to always feel sorry for them, it's like, and he knows all the issues and he owns up to it, but he's too lazy to fix it. And because
Yeah, he should be a millionaire. He lives in Arkansas. What's the property value there? You know what I'm saying? He should be fucking rolling in
yeah,
money.
God, whatever.
Best sports
It's so
racing.
weird.
I'm shocked they still have a racing category.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to combine the two because all the sports games suck nowadays, so that
Yeah,
none of
can't
them
put
get
Madden here
nominated.
anymore.
Yeah, all of them suck now, so that pretty much none of them get nominated outside of the odd ones that are like out there, like Crash Racing or like Mario Sports or something like that. So they always have to like just fill it with racing games that are good but nothing special, such
Well,
as
I
such
hope
as
Hot Wheels wins.
yeah, yeah, it's like with racing games that are like they're all right but are nothing special, like F1 and Hot Wheels and the Crew. Pretty much they just have to fill it up with nowadays. And then there's the odd good one that then comes out that is the obvious winner, with this being Forza Motorsport.
Right.
Usually every year whenever Forza gets released a
I
game.
feel like their turnaround on those games is like every 2 years. They have a Forza game coming out.
Yeah, and Horizon, the last Horizon game really should have got a Game of the Year nom, but whatever. But they still always nominate FIFA still though, and sometimes the other soccer game, just because of how much money is in it.
Yeah.
Yes, how much they like billions and billions of dollars, so they have to nominate it every year to make them happy, make the overlords happy. Yeah.
But didn't know MLB The Show. I'm surprised. That's my favorite sports game by far. But then again, it's about how popular the sport is, right? I think that has a lot to do with it. The NHL games are usually pretty good.
I mean, the
was
NHL
that good this year? I've stopped playing them.
I stopped playing them. Like 15 was trash, 16 was trash, and 17 was trash, 18 was trash, and then I just stopped playing at that point. It's like they went back like 20 years when 15 came out. It's like they focused on just making the graphics pretty and then forgot to do everything else. And ever since then, they've been playing catch up and still aren't there. Like NHL 14 still has things in it that are still more advanced than NHL 23 with like live the life mode and everything. So yeah, I'm just done with the series. It's trash.
Damn. Well, I'm not going back to that series.
Yeah.
Best score music. Zelda.
Ooh.
Alan Wake 2. What are you thinking? Baldur's Gate 3, I have not played. I've just looked at gameplay from it, and it's It's not my type of game, like the Diablo type of game, the
Yeah, well,
top-down stuff. That's
yeah,
not for me.
I
But
can understand. It isn't
yeah,
usually my type of games either. It's sort of
yeah.
just like Dungeons and Dragons style. However, this one, if you ever get the chance, I mean, it is different. It is like sort of like Hades with roguelike RPGs, where even if you aren't in it, you'll like this one. So maybe, but
Mm,
also, it's still understandable. It is in a series for
mhm.
genre for everybody. However, this one, got a lot of praise this year. 10 out of 10s from pretty much everyone. It's probably going to be the game that wins Game of the Year, that or Zelda. It's going to be one of those two. I think it will be Zelda, but Baldur's Gate has a chance, and it's because pretty much all the games, like all the RPG games throughout the year that are like Dungeons and Dragons or that are like Skyrim, that every studio tried doing and
Mm,
tried making like as big as possible, and with like total freedom and like conversations and like freedom to do anything, and with certain characters in your path as like a
mm.
Dungeons and Dragons over the
But
top.
how's the music? Is the music a standout in the game for you? Have you played Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah, it is great music. I did like others this year though. But yeah, but overall though, because of that though, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 though did all that and like mastered it this year, and it is pretty much changed now with like in-game and RPGs. Like that's why people, when Starfield came out, they're like, I mean, it's good, but it's no Baldur's Gate. Like it has completely changed it. And other studios, just like like the Horizon studio of Elden Ring, are so triggered because this
Mm.
smaller studio is able to do what they couldn't. But anyway, for music, but yeah, I mean, good, but it wouldn't be my choice. I would probably
Shots
personally,
fired at Elden
yeah,
Ring.
I'd probably give it to Final Fantasy. Like, it isn't my
Mm,
favorite, one of my favorite games of the year. I thought it was a little bit weaker
mm.
for a
I'm
Final
surprised.
Fantasy game.
Games like Star Wars, Jedi Survivor and Hogwarts Legacy wouldn't be in best score music, but I think that's because they're probably, they're not original soundtracks because they're
Yeah,
based on
yeah,
something that
they
exists.
aren't. However, they've done that before with games. Like
Yeah.
I know there was this anime game that was pretty much just like the same as the previous game, but they not for
Yeah.
the music, but they still nominated it, and then they also nominated the first Spider-Man game in 2018 for its music. So they have done it before, but yeah, usually that's probably why they don't. But yeah, for Final Fantasy, I mean, overall the game wasn't one of my favorites this year or Game of the Year worthy to me, which it didn't get nominated for it, which I think was the right decision to nominate it for a bunch of things, but not Game of the Year. However,
Wow.
the music in it, just like in any Final Fantasy game, is fantastic, and I think out of these choices, it's my favorite.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about Final Fantasy 16 too.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's a great game. I just don't think it's like top 6 or even top 10 of the year,
yeah.
honestly.
And I'm really getting excited for Alan Wake 2. I see it nominated for a lot of things on here. And it
Yeah,
just
I
came out.
mean,
So
yeah,
like,
I'm a Alan Wake fanboy, so yeah, I really
yeah.
loved it. Like, it's my personal game of the year, but
Okay.
yeah,
Here's the big category.
objectively though, there's other ones.
First big category, really. Best RPG. And
Yeah,
I
this
think
is a strong
Baldur's
category.
Gate's probably got it easily just because of all the hype that's been around it. I literally, that's all I hear when people talk about.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate has this in the bag, especially because
Yeah.
this is the only one that's nominated for Game of the Year as well.
Which
But
would be a
this is a
huge
very
slap
strong
to
category.
Starfield. Like Starfield is supposed to be like, Bethesda's,
Yeah,
great.
I mean, it
game,
was it was a very good game, but it's just it isn't on that higher tier where it deserved anything else. And they did the right decision. They didn't bend the knee to the corporate gods. Like we gotta please them. Like no, they gave it the nominees to a Microsoft game that actually deserved it instead. Hi-Fi Rush. So
Mhm.
good on them. But yeah, this did deserve the one nominee here. But yeah,
Yeah.
nothing else. So like again, good game, just wasn't amazing.
Lies of P is also one I was hearing a lot of good things about. Like,
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's basically like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, but like in like a sort of twisted, dark Pinocchio world, and
yeah,
where you play
that's
as
what the
Pinocchio.
P stands for, right?
Yeah,
Pinocchio?
and I'm glad to see it for the nominated for this and art design and other things. I think it's deserved. And Sea of Stars is probably like the best indie game of the
Yeah.
year, and it was a fantastic game. Probably something that I think should have gotten art design and possibly even a Game of the Year nom if they had enough slots. But yeah, so this is a very strong category this year. But even then, Baldur's Gate has it in the bag just because it's
Yeah.
on that. It's
I
on too
think-
high of a
yeah.
level compared to the rest.
They definitely got to give it to Baldur's Gate 3 because I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 wins Game of the Year. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it wins that category.
Especially, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it
I don't
has
think
a
it's
chance.
nominated. Is it nominated for Game of the Year? We'll get to it.
It
In a
is. I
second.
think it has a chance, but I think what they'll do is they'll give it like this and
Yeah.
other things and possibly game direction, but I don't think they'll give it Game of the Year over Zelda. But
Kind of like
we'll
what they
see,
did
but
with God of War last year. Like they give it all
yeah,
the
pretty much.
other
But
categories.
yeah, the other thing though, the other reason why this kind of has it in the bag is because well, the other games like Lies of P and Final Fantasy and Starfield are great as well. If we're talking about purely like RPG, like a lot of the things in it, it's like, but out of all these games, Baldur's Gate is the most RPG one out of all of them. Like what it does, like with the freedom and everything, and all the dialogue choices and everything. It's like easily above the rest when it comes to like the amount.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just with the hype I'm hearing from it, it's not my type of game. I will say.
Yeah, you still might.
I can understand why people love it.
Maybe if it's ever on sale or if it ever
Oh,
comes out for free on PlayStation.
Yeah, I'll definitely try it one day. But like I would try Lies of P first before I would go to Baldur's Gate. Like that's the kind of game
like
I would
Dark
want to
Souls
play.
games?
Sea of Stars, I would like to check out too because I was hearing a lot of good things about that one too. And it's an indie game. Okay, Anyway, best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if anything else has a chance. Best performance.
Yeah, so god damn. Well, first I'll say a lot of people are gonna ask why the main Alan Wake voice actor isn't here instead of the other one in the game. The reason why is because I knew this would happen for it. Because the guy who plays the live action version in the game of Alan Wake and the guy who voices him, they're two different people. And then they like have the guy voice over him in live action scenes where he's kind of like talking. So because of that, it was going to cause issues. So they gave it to the other lead in it instead. However, I think an easy solution was to just nominate both of the people who played the role in it, but whatever, that would have been too easy. But anyway, I mean, yeah, she did a great job though, and I mean, Idris Elba did a really good job from what I heard.
But do you really deserve a best performance for being a DLC? Like, isn't Phantom Liberty just an extension?
I don't know, but he's a popular name, so they're gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
They like before.
They're gonna be pissed off if Spider-Man wins.
Well, Game of the Year or this one?
Well, I think he means Game of the Year, but
yeah. Well, I mean,
this one too.
It was a great game, and I enjoyed the Spider-Man games, but I mean, it was probably a bit weaker than the first though, and it isn't the best. It definitely isn't the best. So I would agree. I wouldn't be pissed off though. There's two games that if it won Game of the Year. If they won Game of the Year, I would be pissed. But Spider-Man isn't one of them. For me, it's probably like the fourth best on that list. But we'll get to it when we get to it.
It's probably going to get a lot of fan votes too. I mean,
yeah, probably.
Just because the recency bias also plays in a fact for that.
Yes, exactly. That's usually why they release them in like November and such. But yeah, I mean, for performance, though, I think it will go to the Spider-Man actor, and because he was so good last year, that I think they'll. Well, with the last game in 2018 and what he also did here and with like the Venom suit with his voice change, I think they'll give it to him. Yuri, I believe his name was, who played Peter Parker in it. But I think that's who will win it. But I wouldn't be mad if like Cameron Monaghan for Star Wars or Ben Starr for Final Fantasy won either. Did
he win it last time? The guy for Star Wars? We'll go back to that real quick.
No, he wasn't nominated last time. And yeah,
so I think they might just do that because
I'm not sure. I think it will be Ben Starr or Yuri, but we'll see maybe. But I mean,
I think they owe Cameron. I feel like
well, he carried that game in a lot of areas, so maybe. But yeah, I mean. Also, didn't he play Joker or something in like Gotham?
Yeah, in Gotham, yeah.
Yeah,
but crazy Joker.
Yeah, in 2018 though, with Yuri, the person who won over him, I believe, was the Red Dead Redemption 2 lead. But anyway,
best ongoing game. It's Fortnite win because they just dropped the Fortnite OG packs. So Fortnite wins.
They already won twice before, and both of them were undeserved over. Other titles such
as Cyberpunk 2077, like they keep updating the game. They keep adding expansions to it.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty much what's guaranteed to win for this category because,
Yeah.
Fortnite, I mean, really shouldn't have even been nominated. It's like they always do a good job updating it each year, but there are other ones that have done a better job than Fortnite, but they just keep nominating it because, Fortnite. And Genshin Impact usually doesn't do the great, like, good game,
Yeah.
but I mean, the developers are great, money hungry, and they really don't update it that well. I don't understand why it
Yeah.
keeps getting nominated.
I played Fortnite once about 5 years ago, and I never played it again.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy, I mean, always do a fantastic job every year, and they completely flip that game upside down, completely like made it go from bad to amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 years ago, they already won for this and community support, so I feel like they won't give them it again. And then Apex Legends, I mean, they've been doing good, and it's still a great game, but it isn't in like the greatest state anymore. So I mean, I don't think they'll give it to them. But Cyberpunk though, we all saw the launch and everything, but then with Phantom Liberty and other things, they made it like a mega popular again and a good game again. I mean, I still don't think it's a great game, with what they promised.
And they never stopped supporting the game. I think that's probably
it's pretty much Cyberpunk guaranteed here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Next one, best narrative. I think Alan Wake 2 wins that one pretty easily, just because it's all about narrative, right? I don't even have to play the game really. It's all about
I would love for it to be Alan Wake 2, and we'll see.
It's just too close of a release. Do you think that's why it probably wouldn't win some of these categories?
I do love the narrative and the story and everything. I love that, and I really love the game and the whole franchise and everything in the universe. However, I feel like it will be Baldur's Gate 3 though, because it's not also just about like story and everything. It's about all like the dialogue things and everything put together.
Environmental storytelling.
Yeah, and the amount in Baldur's Gate 3 is insane. It's like Hades and 13 Sentinels levels, so if not more. So I feel like because of that, they'll give it to Baldur's Gate instead.
Interesting. Spider-Man 2, no hope for that one. Maybe Spider-Man 2 does win Game of the Year. If they're going to give it, it's going to lose its other categories.
Sadly, it's a very tough year, and a lot of people did think it was a bit weaker than the first, but I do think that it could get performance, but that will probably be about it, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. I'm sticking with Alan Wake 2 though, just because I know that series is entirely narrative. Like that's the only reason you play the game. I mean, we don't play it for the quirky gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Like I play it to.
I mean that's the one I hope wins, but I don't think it will. I think it will be Baldur's Gate. But a lot of these categories though, it's basically like I hope Alan Wake 2 wins, but I don't see it.
Yeah, it just came out like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it came out on the 27th of October.
Yeah. That's really close. Like same with Spider-Man. Spider-Man came out pretty close too. I mean, I find it hard to give awards to games that just came out over games that have been out all year. Like it's game of the year.
That's why I like award shows that wait until like around March or April of next year to then so they can get the chance to watch or play everything and then nominate everything, and make sure they actually have the criteria to vote properly because they've seen or played everything in time. That's another thing the BAFTAs and DICE does, and they also don't allow you to vote if you haven't played like 95% of them, which is why it's considered the best. With the Game Awards, so since it's a big advertisement and name thing, they have to get it out before the end of the year for those players and viewers.
That's right. I think the cutoff for these awards was, yesterday, right? What I'm saying? That November 11th,
Well, I think the like the cutoff for like a game that counts for this award show, like every other year, I believe it's sometime like late November. I think it was like the cutoff was then. I think it's usually like around November 11th or.
That's probably why they pushed Spider-Man out in October. They're trying to get some awards for it, But I don't like that. Why push out a game if it's not completely, baked, Anyway, best multiplayer. Do you care about that category? Are we Baldur's Gate 3 probably wins that one?
I think Baldur's Gate 3 will win, but I mean, Party Animals is a sleeper, I guess, or Super
Diablo
Mario
definitely
Bros.
ain't
Even.
winning. Isn't Diablo like a huge disappointment? Diablo 4,
Yeah,
like
well, it is a well made game and everything, but like it's a solid game, not anything amazing, but solid. How
mm,
and it isn't like really undeserving of these nominees. However, it is a disappointment, but also because of all this the usual Blizzard things with the microtransactions or just utter scummy things.
yeah,
Why it's hated on Steam and has like a 6 on Steam.
that's not good. 6 on
Mhm.
Steam and it's up for awards. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's odd. You care about mobile games? Terra Nil will win.
Not really. I hope Terra Nil wins, but I think it will be the what is
Hello
it
Kitty
called?
Island Adventure is for that's my pick.
Yeah, well, it'll probably be Honkai Star Rail because that's the new game, I believe, by the studio who did Genshin Impact, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah. Mobile games are still going. I wouldn't expect mobile games to still be going, but
Yeah, well, everybody plays them
everybody
for
plays
some
them on the
reason. That's
phone.
why Microsoft bought Blizzard because of
I don't know.
Candy Crush.
Right. Best independent game, Sea of Stars, maybe.
Yeah, I think that will win. Yeah, I think it deserves it. Although Cocoon and Dredge were both fantastic as well. I have
Mhm.
not played the other 2 games yet.
I will. I want to check out Dredge.
Oh yeah, it was a great like fishing game with like some mystery. Yeah,
That's
I think
cool.
you'll enjoy it.
Like a little mystery. Best game direction.
Yeah. So
Uh,
this, I mean, a lot of people will probably say Zelda or something, but I feel like they might give this to Baldur's Gate 3 as well because
you
the
think
amount
Baldur's Gate's just gonna sweep all these categories?
well, almost. I think Zelda will get some things, but and then win Game of the Year possibly. However, I think with this one, my prediction basically is that like last year, Baldur's Gate 3 will get the most awards, but
Yeah.
it's because with game direction, though, like with the amount they had to do in Baldur's Gate 3 and all the layers to it and everything, I feel like they might give it to that, but I don't know. It's up in the air at this point, but because of that, my prediction is Baldur's Gate 3, but most likely, though, it will be Zelda.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate is a 96 on Metacritic, and has their
Yeah, it
seal,
has
their
like
must play
10s from
seal.
everyone, yeah.
Yeah. 8.9 from the users. Does that just go to say that the people that vote on these that put their user scores up are just fucking nihilist motherfuckers? They just have to put a 0 up there. You know what I'm saying, to get that score
Yeah,
down
there's
or
definitely
something.
some people like that, yeah.
Yeah.
God, I never understand it.
Wild. Just have fun playing games. Jesus Christ. Best fighting games. Mortal Kombat 1? No. Nickelodeon All Stars. That's mine. That's my pick.
Jesus.
Nickelodeon All Star Brawl.
Yeah, well, if Tekken was nominated here, then it actually would have a chance because Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter weren't that impressive this year. But I think Street Fighter 6 should actually win. I think it was the better game this year than Mortal Kombat 1, which was kind of disappointing in a lot of areas, especially the
Mortal
voice.
Kombat been like it's been winning in the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it won for X. It didn't win for 11 because I believe that was when Nintendo. What do you call it again? The fighting game Nintendo does.
Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, then that's when that came out Ultimate, so it won over it. But then MK released some sort of like 11. Some extra edition thing, which then they nominated and it won, even though it really shouldn't have. And I really don't think 11 by itself should have won either. And then Mortal Kombat 1, yeah, it was. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't like great. It had issues for sure, especially the voice acting. I wasn't that into like the story in a lot of areas, and I had the kind of the same issues as I did in 11. So I actually think 6 deserves it, but if Mortal Kombat 1 wins it, then I wouldn't be surprised just because of popularity.
Well, I think if Nickelodeon All Star Brawls loses, it's definitely got snubbed.
Oh hell yeah!
You get SpongeBob in that game. You know what I'm saying? And Garfield. Did you see the Garfield trailer? Oh my god!
Yeah, that's just proof voice acting is dead.
right? Chris Pratt just needs to just sound the
have
same.
Chris Pratt do everything in his regular voice instead of actually having Mario Garfield voices.
It worked
Fantastic
for
idea.
Mario. He got $1 billion for Mario.
Yeah, somehow. We'll get to that as well because of the one category here with the movies.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we're about to get to adaptation. Should we skip to it? Oh no, let's do family game. I don't have kids yet, so I'm not.
Yeah, for family game, I mean, the winner should probably be. The winner will be Super Mario Bros. Wonder because it's for game of the year.
Sonic. Let's go Sonic. Let's go Sonic. We got some guy.
I mean, Sonic. I enjoyed like Sonic, Pikmin, Party Animals, but I mean,
there's at least one guy like Sonic out there.
Yeah, the one guy, but yeah, it's gonna be Super Mario Bros. Just because it's nominated for Game of the Year. But I think the one actually deserves it is Party Animals. But
maybe Party Animals gets it. I'll keep my eye out for that.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, esports game, yeah, League of Legends.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip this stuff. I mean, we all know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can just fire.
It's the same games every year, though. For esports,
yeah,
it's always Counter-Strike, Dota, League of Legends. It's
here. This is what I'll do. I'll just quickly say what should win, and then you can just scroll up. League of Legends.
League of Legends.
Fnatic. Yeah, League of Legends World Championship.
Was it exciting to watch this year?
Yeah, well, it's not over yet. The finals is in like 4 days, and Faker hopefully is going to win again after ages. But
interesting.
Yeah, Potter because she carried some dog shit Valorant team somehow to the title out of nowhere.
Interesting.
And Faker.
Baker.
Yeah, Faker. He's carrying T1 to a championship this year.
He looks so hard. These guys look so hard. Such
that is the GOAT of esports there. Yeah, Ruler was on the team that was favored to win in League of Legends, JDG, but then they lost to T1 just like the other day in the semifinals.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then best indie debut game. So now this one, I think, Dredge or Cocoon.
So Sea of Stars wasn't I thought that was a debut for that studio. I guess not.
No. Apparently not.
Cocoon, Dredge, I want to get one of those.
Best community support. Yeah, I think it should.
Cyber.
I think it should be No Man's Sky or.
Dude, we can't do No Man's Sky again. I thought it won last year. Didn't it win last year for community support?
No, it won in 2020, I believe. I don't think it won last year. I actually don't think it won for community support yet. It won best ongoing in 2020. I don't think it won for this. So I would give it to that or Baldur's Gate.
Shock Destiny 2's here. I didn't realize people still play that game.
I definitely wouldn't after recent things. And Final Fantasy, I mean, I wouldn't be upset, but it already won, so I don't see it. And Cyberpunk, I mean, I think it definitely deserves ongoing, but with community support, I mean, I don't know. I think that's entirely different, and I don't think they've really been the best with that.
Mm-hmm. And No Man's Sky is a constant. Like that's Hello Games' only game, really. Like they're constantly.
Yeah, they make the indie games here and there, but yeah, this is pretty much it for right now.
Like that's their studio. They're gonna constantly be supporting that. Or the studio goes under, really. Best audio design. Dead Space, I thought was pretty good audio design. I thought it sounded really good. But it might not win. That's another game that came out earlier this year. A lot of games that came out earlier just aren't here at the award shows.
Yeah. So for this one, I mean, this is a toss-up. It could go to any one of these games. I hope it's not Resident Evil 4.
Did you not like it? I mean, it is the same game, really.
I thought it in a vacuum, it's a good game, but overall, I didn't think it was great, and it's definitely not Game of the Year worthy. And we'll get to that when we get to the last category. But yeah, because I have some things to say there. But anyway, for this, I mean, I wouldn't be mad with any of the other four winning. For this, I'll probably go Alan Wake too.
Yeah, I mean, they got to give Alan Wake something. I don't know. I mean, I'd be nice if Dead Space won.
Audio,
Yeah, I'd be nice if Dead Space won because I think this is the only category it's up for.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was like a remake, but you know. Okay,
all right.
Best direction.
Art direction.
Now this I think they're gonna give to Zelda.
Really? Because it looks different from the last Zelda game.
Well, that, but the art design is just like it is like one of my, I would say, least favorite things about the whole Zelda game. Like I think it was a incredible game, but that's probably one of my lower end things. But I still thought it was amazing. And compared, like I don't know why Super Mario Bros. Wonder is even here over Sea of Stars, but whatever.
I
do
didn't
think
know
it's
it was a
better than
game
that.
before this nomination.
Yeah,
thing.
I do think it's better than that. I do think it is better than Lies of P's, even though it is amazing as well.
Mhm.
And the other two is a toss up for me. Like I do have Alan Wake bias, so I don't want to say it because then I'll sound biased. And then yeah,
It is a
Hi-Fi
recency
Rush.
bice too, because I mean,
Yeah,
we're always
I mean,
excited about a game that just came out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, I've
it's-
been excited for it for 13 years, so it's hard not
Yeah.
to be biased. So that's why I've only given it audio design so far. But
it is in
I
a
mean,
bunch of nominations. It's got to win something. Like,
yeah, I mean, we say that, but Horizon never wins anything. It always gets a bunch. Same thing with Spider-Man.
dude, that's wild. Like, I know because when Forbidden West came out, it was nominated a lot and didn't win anything. And
Yeah, same thing with
crazy.
the first one as well. Yeah,
Crazy
Zero
because,
Dawn.
dude, Forbidden West is good. Like, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That game is good. That
Yeah.
is some. You barely have to think about that game when you're playing it.
I mean, Hi-Fi Rush is probably like the biggest contender, I would say, to beat The Legend of Zelda in this category. And I
Mhm.
feel like it could, but I feel like the voters are going to give it to Zelda just because Hi-Fi Rush, I think they're giving it other categories probably. So,
Well, let's go Liza P. Let's go Liza P. All right, here's a big category. I think Last of Us probably wins it easily. But, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, for me, The Last of Us TV show, I thought was very good, and I thought it fixed some issues I had with the first game, which I hope they do in the second season with the second game. I hope they fix some issues I had with it there, like pacing wise and structure
I
wise.
want more clickers. I want more zombies.
Yeah, same there. However,
more.
yeah, I don't think it was like an amazing TV show though, or like perfect or anything. I do think it was just a very good TV show and was well made and well acted overall, but nothing
Gran
outstanding.
Turismo was surprisingly good.
Yeah, and it was surprisingly good. I think that would be the only competitor against it, but I don't think it will win. I think they will give it to The Last of Us TV show. Yeah, Twisted Metal was hot garbage. I don't know why that's here. That was hilariously bad.
Me and my girlfriend
Castlevania.
Me and my girlfriend loved watching that show. She loved Sweet Tooth by the end of the show.
Liked it? Oh. I mean, I love the Twisted Metal like lore and universe and everything, but I thought that show was so poor.
They totally
that's just me.
They totally did whatever they wanted with the Twisted Metal universe there. Like I know. 100%.
Castlevania, I mean, it has some people who think it's bad, so it probably won't win. And then Mario Bros, if that wins, I'm gonna be so angry.
I mean, it's one of the biggest movies of the year, like behind Barbie.
And it's also the first movie ever made by ChatGPT. Good job.
ChatGPT, it worked. As soon as I can be able to tell.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's one of the other two, Gran Turismo, Last of Us, and I think the best one here is Last of Us TV show. Like again, even though I didn't think it was amazing, it was very good. I think it's the best one here. I will say though, the first like 3 episodes of it, I did think were a little rough in a lot of areas, and like I didn't like the actress who played the one daughter character. I thought her performance was cheesy, and I thought in the first 3 episodes or so, like with a lot of side characters from the first game, they tried to give them add on to it from the first game, but I feel like having less and that mystery and like figuring out yourself in the game, like imagining it, for example, like Bill's relationship, I believe that's his name, if I remember, with the one dude was better in the first game to just like instead of like revealing too much, because sometimes it's to reveal too much and has like pacing issues, but because they needed to like fill out the episodes and add more filler, they did this, and I think it was for the worse in my opinion in the show. However, after the beginning though, in the later half of the season of The Last of Us, I really loved it.
Yeah, I
That
like
was
the
just
second
the
half
best
of
in my
that
opinion.
season
So,
two. It's very good.
yeah, I think that was a
PlayStation's
strong point.
PlayStation Productions, 3 nominees in this category. Yeah, I think their
Yeah,
odds of winning are pretty good here.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. They
But Super Mario Bros. I mean, it's a pretty good year for adaptations. I mean, you had a huge hit movie that made $1 billion, a huge hit show in Last of Us. Twisted Metal was another show that got a lot of views on Peacock, and Gran
yeah,
Turismo was a surprise hit.
yeah,
Like decent year for
yeah,
adaptations.
yeah. There's no like Arcane. This year
Yeah.
there's nothing as amazing as that, but still.
Oh yeah. But still, decent year. And PlayStation's leading the way with the adaptations. Which the next
Yeah,
one I think they're going to try to do is Horizon. They're going to try to make a Netflix series with that.
yeah. Well, listen, as long as they don't make anything as terrible as Uncharted, I'll watch it.
Dude, what a missed opportunity that was. All they had to do was just do the game in the movie. That's all they had to do.
Yeah,
Just do the
yeah.
same
Thank
exact
you,
thing.
Paul Pollard. Yeah, let's get the guy who did a Venom, the fucking director. Great
Right.
idea.
I think they're making another one. I think they already have Uncharted 2 movie like lined up here.
Yeah, because it somehow made money.
I don't know. Best action game. Dead Island 2, I wanted to play so bad. I never got to it.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't anything great. It was just
A zombie
it's
game.
half decent at best, but I mean, it's kind of mindless fun at points. It's just
Do you
whatever.
think Hi-Fi Rush? I think maybe Hi-Fi Rush wins this one because it's you see it popping up in every nomination, but
Yeah, well,
in
this is why I
category,
said I don't think they'll give it art direction when they could over Zelda, because I think this is the category they'll give it.
yeah,
I think they'll reward Hi-Fi Rush here. Although Armored Core 6 has a chance. It was an amazing game this year to a lot of people. It is from Software, and it's the
Bandai
game that I
Namco.
think
Mhm.
really got snubbed in the nominees. Honestly, I think Armored Core 6 and Hi-Fi Rush could have been nominated for Game of the Year over two others that were.
Mm-hmm. I really got to try Armored Core again. VR games, I could care less.
Yeah, also Humanity or Synapse are the best.
Yeah.
Those two are the
Those are
best.
actual games, like Resident Evil VR mode. It's just a little mode
Yeah,
called The Mountain.
I
I
mean,
think it's
some of
just
them that they make modes for end up being super
yeah.
good, but these ones this year,
Yeah.
no, not really.
They're
And
not
Gran
full
Turismo
size
is
games like
insulting.
Humanity, right? Like
Yeah, and it's not just that they're full size games. It's that they were amazing as well. So,
yeah. But maybe they give it to Horizon because they fucking have,
yeah, they'll probably
Just
get to
snub
Horizon,
Horizon
so
so
they
many
shut
times.
up about them never winning an award. That studio, maybe that will shut them up finally.
Right. Yeah, the one reward they win is for the VR thing they did.
Yeah.
It's wild. Best action adventure. Yay. This is probably my favorite category.
Yeah, this is the one that Spider-Man 2 has a chance in, I will say.
I mean, that's pure action adventure. I mean, Spider-Man 2. Pure that and Star Wars, those are
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4,
I mean, I would
don't
give
think
it
it's
to
fair
Zelda,
for
but
I don't think it's fair for Resident Evil 4 to win anything, really. Like
yeah,
unless it's
well,
a remake category.
yeah, I mean, not only that, but I just don't think it deserves to be nominated for these in the first place. But again, I'll get to that when we get to the Game of the Year noms, because I don't want to say it yet, like my thoughts on it. But yeah, this. I mean, besides Resident Evil 4, I'd be happy if any of these. I want Zelda to win here. I think out of between that and Spider-Man 2, but I think Spider-Man 2 has a chance.
Mm-hmm. I think if it's gonna win anything, it's definitely should do an action adventure category.
Yeah.
But then again, Star Wars. This is like the only one it's nominated for. It's nominated for this one and the performance. And I think that's it for Star Wars, right? Interesting. Yeah, I think that was it for Star Wars. That's it. We're at the beginning. We're at the top.
Yeah. Game of the Year. Okay.
Game of the Year. We're here, guys. We fucking made it. The Game of the fucking Year. And there's no Hogwarts Legacy. There's no
Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah. So this is basically how I'll break this down. All right.
Yeah.
My personal Game of the Year, Alan Wake 2. The one that I think will win is Zelda, and that's my prediction.
Really?
Finalized.
You think Zelda's going to win this?
Yes. Ooh. And then the one that I think, though, would be the most deserving, coolest, and best for gaming is Baldur's Gate. And then the
Yeah.
two where that would be absolute disasters if they won would be Super Mario Bros. Wonder or Resident Evil 4. And then the one
Yeah, I
game
don't
out
think Super
here
Mario
that I'd
Brothers.
be 50-50 on is Spider-Man.
There's no chance in hell Super Mario Brothers is winning. There's just no way.
Yeah, there's
But
no chance, but
Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom also has a 96 on Metacritic. It has the
yeah, it's
same
basically down to
Metacritic
that
score
in
as
Baldur's
Baldur's
Gate.
Gate. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild. Like what does Spider-Man got? I'm just gonna look at all the Metacritic scores just to see what the critics would say would win. Where the heritage? Marvel Spider-Man 2. That's what the game's titled. Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Interesting. It should be called PlayStation Spider-Man 2. Okay, no. That has a 90. That has a 90. Solid 90, and it actually has a higher user score than the other ones. Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
And what's Resident Evil 4 got? I should probably be showing this for her. And Evil. There's no way it has. It has a 93.
Yeah, and I don't understand why, but
I always find that no, the user score is a 7.9 though. So
yeah,
user score
for me, it's hype culture with all these fucking remakes.
Yeah.
Like I'll basically get into it now. Why I didn't like Resident Evil 2
Yeah.
4 that much this year, and why I don't think it deserves this. While you're searching these up,
Yeah.
Okay, so again, in a vacuum, it's a good game, but as a remake, it is not so much. The original Resident Evil 4 was so unique and amazing for its time, and all the like technical things it did, and all the detail. With the remake, what they basically did was they ripped out all of the unique like optional freedom mechanical choices that you could do in Resident Evil 4, like how you could like shoot, you can even just like shoot the weapons guy with the coat and everything. It's like they just, and a lot of the options thing, they removed all that, and they removed the uniqueness of how like the village at the start of Resident Evil 4 looks, the castle, how it's all like lightened up, and sort of like the shining with how it's just like unsettling, like of how it is like that. And then they just turned it into generic Diablo spooky dark castle stuff and village stuff, and it's all dark and and it looks like every other game. And then they just like updated it with the graphics and improved some of the mechanical things that they had in Resident Evil 4, and done. And then people called it amazing, and because of their fan stuff, and got on the hype train, even though it's a vastly far weaker game in my opinion, and with especially the voice acting as well is far weaker in it. And they also butchered now the ability to have like being able to turn around and stuff, like in the original Resident Evil 4. It made it super creepy and added to a lot of suspense. With Resident Evil 4 now, they in the remake they ruined that. So yeah, and this has been an issue with a lot of remakes recently. It's like remake culture, where they remake a game but they don't have the talent to do like the unique Japanese style things that they used to in games like Dead Rising 1 and Left 4 Dead 2. So then they just like turn it into generic spooky thing with updated graphics and lighting, and that's it.
Well, I was surprised to see it got like a 94, 96 or something.
Yeah, I get it, and I'm very unhappy that this got nominated over something like Hi-Fi Rush or Armored Core 6,
or even
Fantasy.
Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, Alan Wake 2 has an 87 on Metacritic right now,
and I think it deserves a higher one. But yeah,
probably. I mean, but out of all of them, it's the lowest rated one for some reason. But Hogwarts Legacy had an 84 on Metacritic, so like I don't know why it didn't get a nom.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Yeah, again, it's the new like big Nintendo Mario thing of the Mario Bros. Series, sort of like Odyssey and stuff. And it seems like anytime one of those comes out, they automatically gives it a Game of the Year nom. And this just confirms it, because this one was a lot weaker than all the others. released recently, like Odyssey, and this did not deserve to be here over others that weren't.
And just so we cover our bases, Super Mario Brothers Wonder has a 92 on Metacritic.
Yeah, because all the critics are just like 10 out of 10. There's something for everyone.
I love fucking Nintendo. They're fucking stroking their cocks on Nintendo.
But yeah, I mean, what would be your pick here for Game of the Year? Like, what your personal pick, and then the one you think will win?
My personal pick's probably Spider-Man 2, even though I haven't played it yet. I haven't got to play it yet, guys. I just know based off the first game that I'm going to enjoy that one more than any other game here. But Nintendo hasn't won a Game of the Year in a minute. Breath of the Wild, did that win when it came out?
Yeah, that one.
So maybe Zelda gets it, but I think Baldur's Gate 3 might get it just because of how.
Well, I mean, it's down to that or Zelda. It's one of the two.
I know. It's certainly not. I can tell you what it's not going to be. Like, it's not going to be Mario Wonder. It's not going to be Resident Evil 4.
I mean, it's not going to be that or Resident Evil or Spider-Man.
It's probably not going to be Alan Wake either, just because of
those four are out of it. It's down to these two, and again, it's because I feel like these voters aren't going to have the balls to give it to a game like Baldur's Gate 3. Like, they'll give it things like narrative, RPG, game direction. That's how we'll possibly
know. Yeah. When we're watching the show and we see what's winning these lesser categories, then we'll know what's going to win the Game of the Year when we get to it. If Baldur's Gate is clearing all the lesser categories, then it's not winning Game of the Year.
And I think it will, and that's how they reward it. And then they might give it game direction, but with Zelda, though, I think they'll view it as like a more like complete game in terms of like almost every type of player will enjoy it, no matter what type of games you like. While Baldur's Gate 3, just because it's mainly only for people into like Dungeons and Dragons type games, they won't have the balls to give it that.
Yeah. Well, I just don't see them giving it to Spider-Man 2 or Alan Wake 2 just because they came out so recently. They just came out a couple weeks ago. I think that recency bias thing is what's going to turn them off those games. I think Zelda probably has the best chance because it's been out all year type thing, you know. It is a game of the year, you know. I don't know. Fuck Nintendo. I don't want them to win anything. Let's go Spider-Man 2. Let's go Spider-Man 2. Do not want fucking Nintendo to win shit. They're saying fucking 5 games they pump out every goddamn year. Ooh, Zelda. Ooh, Mario. Ooh, Mario.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to hope Baldur's Gate wins, but again, I'm not expecting it.
That'd be an interesting one. It probably boosted sales too a lot, you know.
Yeah, it will. You know, we'll probably do like a reaction stream to the Game Awards, so you know, you'll hear our reactions.
Yeah, we'll watch it together. We'll watch it. I'll have it on my TV.
We were supposed to last year, but on literally the one and only day there was available flight to Costa Rica, they picked that day. I'm like, fuck it.
Right. The Game Awards are going to be on December 7th. Yeah, dude, we'll do a stream. We'll fucking watch it right here. We'll watch the whole thing. We'll get some popcorn.
And we'll wait till the end to see if anybody runs up on stage.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, that's what's going to win Game of the Year this year, Bill Clinton.
I'm telling you, if there's some like Israel-Palestine thing that happens at the game, that's going to be disastrous. That's going to be.
Then it's like you're going to like wave the Israel flag on stream.
Oh my God. You know some developer's going to say something on that stage, giving a speech. You know they're going to, you know.
Oh God, I hope.
Just like the Oscars when they start talking about shit they know nothing about.
It's so cringe. It's like, hey, I'm a rich, privileged person, but please listen to me. And it's like, oh God, it's like I can't remember. There was one idiot for like kind of funny games that won for that trending game award somehow.
Was it Greggy Miller?
Yep, and he did some goddamn thing like that in his speech. But outside of that, I can't think of like any cases yet where that has happened at the Game Awards, and I hope it stays like that. However, I might be mistaken. I'm sure there were some incidents like that you can remember. Mainly, though, it was mainly just like cringe small ones, like fucking when Geoff Copeland was like, dicks out for Harambe always.
Harambe. That's a funny one. Yeah.
Oh,
That's how I thought on it. That's how I
pretty
thought on
much.
it.
Pretty much.
This is a. I mean, I won't even say this is like one of the best years of gaming I've ever seen. You know, like it's a decent year, but like I don't know. This is not the greatest awards nominees I've seen for this Game Awards. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just because COVID was really it set back a lot of studios too and stuff, and we're
yeah,
just now
but
getting out of it.
I mean, I kind of disagree. I mean, I would say it's been a weaker year for like indie games. However, I mean, I think there were a lot of. I mean, we got like 2 masterpieces here basically, and then 2 great games, and then 2 games. Like, but I mean, if you look at like the other categories, though, I mean, in most of the categories, it's pretty stacked, especially ones like best RPG game. It was actually, I think, in my opinion, a pretty strong year this year, and to a lot of people with games that weren't even nominated. It's just like this very last category, the biggest one. Yeah, it's just they screwed up on this one with 2 of these choices, so then it doesn't look like as strong of a year, but it kind of was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, fucking had Hogwarts Legacy drop this year. Not a fucking single goddamn nom for it.
Yeah, I don't understand why. It's like, hold on, can we go back to like action adventure and see who was nominated for that? Because I want to see what they picked over it again. Because like, okay, you don't want to give it like much besides like 1 or 2. Okay, I get that.
It could have been a 6. It could have been the 6th game too. Like you could just put a 6th game in that.
Yeah, they did it for other categories, but also
Resident Evil 4 action adventure.
Yeah,
like, come on now. Come on.
Really?
Now.
Yeah, it's like you could have given that to Hogwarts Legacy. Come on.
Yeah. It's not much of an adventure for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, that or even like audio. You could have given it audio design as well, something like that.
Oh yeah, soundtrack maybe. That'd been fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been. Thanks for joining me. It's been real.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, so I guess like, yeah, I thought we were gonna do it this week, but I guess not. But I guess next week or something we'll probably do the other things you talked about, like with
games podcast. Might do a games podcast. Might ignite the game podcast. I had one called the PlayStation Administration. I like that name because it's PSA. So you get PSA every week. But yeah, you know, I'm playing. What games are you playing right now? What's the game you're playing right now?
Well, I mean, I recently just finished Alan Wake and Spider-Man 2, but the games I've been playing right now, I mean, I've been mainly just catching up on a lot of like the smaller games that are on Game Pass that came out last year or this year. Just like smaller games to just play through quickly and try to like complete 100%, such as what was the one game? Okay, well, I forgot the one I was thinking of, but you know, another is like High on Life. That's one.
Yeah, I want to play that one too. It just came out on PlayStation, I think, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to get into that. I kind of forgot about the game, and then
it's pretty funny. It does a good job mocking a lot of games. So
yeah, I definitely want to check that one out. When did that one come out? It came out last year, right?
Yeah, it came out last year, and this year they at Gamescom or like the Microsoft press conference, they recently announced a DLC for it called High on Knife.
Mm-hmm. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Just have a knife.
Yeah. It's just a talking knife in an Australian accent, just like, "Oi, fuck you! Let me stab that cunt."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I got some games to play. I definitely want to check out and try to beat Alan Wake 1 and 2 before December 7th, before these awards happen. I am in the middle of Alan Wake, the first one, remastered on PS5. It's good. It's good. I like the little.
Again, unfortunately, the remastered, they kind of screwed up like the camera angles and a lot of cutscene shots and some of the lighting.
Oh, they did.
They kind of made it like they overexposed the lighting, like as a lot of remakes do. They kind of go from like having a darker look to then brightening it up, however doing nothing more to it, so it makes it look weird. That's what they kind of did. And then they also just the camera angles, a lot of the shots look a bit off, sort of like the beginning with the guy with the axe in comparison to the OG one, so they kind of screwed up there. But I mean, again, it's still Alan Wake though, 2010, which was an amazing game, so it's still amazing. But
I'm enjoying the narrative.
the OG
I'm
is
enjoying
better.
what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, they did improve on a couple lines, so there were a couple lines that felt a little off in the OG one back then that they improved on and enhanced on.
And it is scary. It's a scary game. I am
the atmosphere and everything.
Yeah. I like it. You know what's not scary? Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That's not a scary movie. It's a shit movie.
I was laughing at how bad that film was.
Right. Dude, you should see the comments on my movie review. People are defending the fuck out of the movie.
Like, I need to see that.
You guys are on crack.
Yeah, all the people defended it. They didn't go into it wanting to see a well put together film that has good direction, good acting, good music, good cinematography, good editing, good performances.
They just wanted to see their goddamn animatronics or something.
Yeah, they just wanted that and the lore and to see fucking Matt Pat jerking off.
Dude, it would have
been all they wanted to see.
Would have been so easy to make that movie like scary and good. Just literally do 5 nights. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it gets worse every night until you actually see them moving.
Yeah, and it would have been even more low budget and better for them, but whatever. I mean, I'm sure the guy who, like the 17-year-old who's doing a Backrooms movie with A24 is going to do a far better job. But yeah, and somehow Willy's Wonderland is somehow better, which is hilarious. But the thing I did respect though is they used real animatronics from the Jim Henson thing.
Dude, I didn't notice. Like, I thought they were CGI when I was watching the movie.
Unfortunately, I didn't notice because they did such a poor job showing them and with how they were shot.
Yeah, they looked too smooth. Like, they looked like they had no damage on them. I don't know. There was something about it. It didn't strike me as real, which is a problem because it was real. I think that's a big problem. I wasn't scared by them. The second they start playing with the little girl in the movie, I'm like, all right, are these monsters anymore? Like, I don't even understand what's going on. Like,
yeah, no clue. But we got that lore. That's all that matters. The lore.
The lore. It's so much lore.
I can't wait to read those comments.
Oh yeah. People be crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, man. I'll see you. Thank you for joining me on this. We went through all the nominees.
Yeah, again, sorry that I talk too much. If I ever talk too much, let me know.
No, you actually played a lot of these games though, so I wanted you to get your opinions on these.
Okay.
I haven't yet to play Spider-Man 2. I mean, I know I'm gonna enjoy it a lot, so I'm not even questioning that. And Alan Wake 2, I gotta beat the first game before I jump into that one. And I don't play Nintendo games. So there's two games right there I don't play.
Yeah. I mean, I bought the Switch just to play games like Zelda. I don't really care about the others.
Like, I'm catching up on games like Forbidden West. Like, it's a fucking massive goddamn game. I'm like 40 hours into it, and I'm not even halfway through the goddamn map. Like, I'm like doing everything. It's taking fucking forever.
Yeah, I love the world building in that game.
Oh yeah, dude, it's stunning. It's stunning. I'll probably make a video talking about that when I'm done with it.
Oh yeah, like when I first saw that giant robot thing walking around in the first game, I was like, holy shit, this is insane, especially the FPS still with it.
Anyway, you have a good day, man.
Yeah, everybody
you too. Have a good night. I guess.
Yep.
Whatever time it is where you're at.
Yep, and good night, chat, and anybody else who watches this afterwards. I guess they'll probably be searching up reactions to the nominees and find our stream.
Hopefully, we'll see you guys later. That's it for now. Bye bye.